Okay, so this is quite a fun little bit of recording. Not especially difficult, but we have to do it just to build these kind of smokestacks in. So I'm going to grab here, zoom, and the other one I'll keep in place because it'll come in handy, because obviously I'll be able to align it across. And what I'm going to do is just right click, convert to editable polygon, and this will basically give me a kind of a basic shape to start off with. And what I'm going to do here is just go on my edges, yoink, hit F4 so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to chamfer them. So by chamfering them I get a nice rounded shape, you see. And I'm going to keep my chamfers polygons as even as I can, and by doing that I can really round out this surface quite a lot. Okay, like that. So now I've rounded it, and you'll see that it's like a pill shape, but not a perfect pill shape, which means it's fitting the kind of shape that I want. Now I'm going to grab the top, control, select, delete the bottom. Okay, now this top part here, just inset it, like so, and then I'm going to extrude it straight down. Okay, because this is where our pipes are going to come out of. And at the bottom there, I'll probably delete that bottom part, but first, what I need is to make a couple of tubes and cylinders. So, first thing first, I'm going to make a tube. And I don't often use the tube primitive, but I quite enjoy it. You just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. Okay, and that's your base tube shape. Now, I'm going to need to give it a bit of height, so maybe a height of 150. Okay, and now I'm going to create a second tube. Just drag it upwards like that and just copy it. And my second tube is going to be considerably smaller. So height, maybe bring this down to about 80. Okay, that way it's not actually, as you can see, kind of higher than this pipe, because this is our kind of cooling stack. And then for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change radius 2 to radius 1. So Control C, and radius 2 and radius 1. There, so now it's thicker, but it's the same radius as the inside part. Okay, don't worry if this is kind of going. Okay, now I don't need to change my height segments. Convert to editable poly. What I do need to do though is come in here and basically start putting some detail in. Now I can either use edge loop, or I can use swift loop, or I can use that kind of insetting tool that I've done before. I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, I don't really need to take too long doing it. This is just a very minor detail, and you look at it and it's like, oh, surely that thing's quite hard to make. No, it's not. Okay, well, it all depends. I mean, Boolean might hate us today, and Boolean is what we're going to be using. So if you've got a divine hatred of Boolean, like everyone, then it may not be as much fun as you're hoping for, but you know, it'll be a start. Okay, I am going to turbo smooth it, and obviously by turbo smoothing we get a much smoother shape, so that's cool. Convert to editable poly. I mean, I only need really to do this a couple of times. Now I'm going to just increase the width a bit so it comes out. I'm going to reset its X form. It's kind of important to do that because that was non-uniform. Next, I am going to make myself a cylinder. So I get one here, drag it out, make sure it's got positive there. Okay, and I'm going to align it with my tube. Okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to drag it out. And then with that dragged out, like so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a few copies of it. 1, 2, maybe, let's see if that many fit. No, they don't. That's cool, don't need to. So that many. And I'm going to attach them to each other. So if I go over here, convert to editable polygon, and just attach these three together, like that. Okay, now I'm going to affect my pivot only, and I'm going to align my pivot to this. turn effect pivot only off, and I'm going to rotate it. Now this is an interesting one because I need to be careful to make sure that we don't get any kind of intersection going on. So 40 degrees is probably going to be perfect, and 40 into 360. Okay, so let's work that out, shall we? 36, half it 18, half it again 9. We've already got one in place, so we need 8 copies. Sorry if that seems like a strange way of doing the mathematics, but that's the way I do it, buddy. Oh, stretch my leg. Give it a little stretch. Dip my toe in the jacuzzi, baby. The Duchess of Windsor. Ho ho ho, what's this? How's it going? Right, now as we can see here we have a non-even amount. Oh dear, never mind, we shall adapt, adopt, and most assuredly improve. Let's just undo that. And instead try 35 degrees and just give it some sort of random arbitrary amount. Right, there we go, that's okay, because I can just delete off the last one, and then I'll just turn off angle snap and just move it a little bit. There we go, so it kind of looks like it's right, even though it isn't. Because a lot of it's about like fooling people. Remember I was saying I was watching Penn and Teller's Fool Us, so it's kind of appropriate really. Trying to fool the end user. Okay, now I can attach. If I go in here, all of these. Now thankfully this isn't a massively high polygon object, so we should be okay. So if I just get this and go over here to compound objects, pro boolean, and I'm going to start picking. No, I don't want a union, I want a subtraction. So I don't know why it thinks I want a union. There we go, subtraction. Right click, convert to editable polygon. Okay, so that came out pretty okay, surprisingly anyway for a pro boolean. Now if I go in here and zoom on it, and what I'm going to do is go into my select by edge and let me see, selection hard, here 4. As you can see, it has successfully selected all my hard edges, which is good because we needed it to. Now I'll go to my chamfer, and I don't want to chamfer it very much because booleans ruin your model in ways that would make your grandmother cry. There we go. And we certainly don't want to put a turbo smooth on this fella for the same reason. Right click out, convert to editable patch. Why are you doing that, Chris? That's just tantamount to madness. Because it sticks the polygons in, that's why. Convert to editable poly. And we need those. Now as you can see, there are some areas in our model that are horribly damaged. Let's take it back to an editable mesh. Poly, sorry. And it's mostly because we have all these isolated, god-awful little bloody things going on here. Now if you don't like doing it that way, there are other ways of doing this. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Tell you what, why don't we have a look at doing it a different way as well. Nah, sorry, it can't be asked. I was going to, but I thought, bugger it, just F it, man. If it works, you know, sod it. Right, go in here, and I'm going to raise that one up a bit more, and take the bottom part, convert to editable poly, and at the bottom here, I'm going to pull this down a bit. There we go. Cool. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one. Sorry if my nose is a little bit honky. And select here, loop that, and I'm going to have it come off at the angle on there, I think, that second one. So I'm just going to hinge from edge, pick hinge, that one, and make it 90 degrees. And I'm going to put 9 segments in. Click OK. Tick, tick. Okay, now I'm going to come to this one. I'm going to do the same again. So I'll just loop it, hinge from edge, pick my hinge, do the same hinge, there we go, 90 degrees, 9 segments, click tick, so tick, and attach, there we go. So now also select this one. What? Oh no, not you, I'm not attaching you, go away. That one and that one, and loop. Okay, so now what I can do is I can do an extrude. Actually, I wanted to do a bevel, so I'll just undo that. But, so now I can do a bevel. Bear in mind I'm getting tired, I've been working quite long hours today. And then I'm going to just narrow this out by doing this. Okay, and now, because these two are both attached to each other, I'm going to touch a turbo smooth. I am not going to turbo smooth the coolers, because that's just madness, quite frankly. Yeah, they're okay, but I need to put in some edges before I do this, so I'm going to swift loop. One there, one there, one there, and I don't need to put too many in, just enough really to break the shape a little bit up. Now remember, because we've got an inside part, it suddenly makes our turbo smoothing, you know, so much harder. It's not even funny, it's just like a pain in the arse. So what you can do if that's becoming too much of a pain in the arse, just do one, and you can always copy the one across if you have to. I'm going to do both because, you know what, why the hell not? But it's whatever makes you feel happy, you know. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to do both, so start on the inside, I think. The inside's the easiest bit. And I'll probably use a couple of placement tools when I'm done as well. There we go. Okay, let's turbo these fellas. T is for turbo smooth. Bam. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so convert to editable polygon. Now we've got these cooling tubes going around them. Again, like I said, I mean, it's up to you if you want to use this kind of way of doing it. There are better ways of doing it, and to be honest, I should probably show you the better way of doing it too, because frankly I don't like that. It's making me angry and sad. So I'm going to go over here to my standard primitives. What time is it? Yep, cool. And I'm going to get my box and just draw one out from here. Okay, because I like having a work surface that I can kind of work on. Okay, I'm going to take one of these away. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a plane. My plane is going to be a single polygon. And my single polygon is going to be that size, and its length and its width will both be, doesn't really matter what its length and width are at the minute, 30 by 30. I'll put 2 by 2 in, that's a good way to start. And just convert to editable polygon. Okay, now over here, get rid of that. rotate this, and I should have angle snap on. If I haven't, I'll just press A. It's quite fun actually doing things in different ways for a change. I wasn't going to, but I showed you how to do one that was kind of highly unsatisfactory, so I may as well show you how to do one that's a bit better. And it relies a lot on the fact that we'll be using kind of turbo smooth, so, or mesh smooth anyway. I'm going to insert this, not too much, just a little bit. Then I'm going to do it kind of by the same, slightly less maybe, just mesh smooth it. Right, now I've got too many polygons there, so what I need to do is I need to get rid of some of these. So I'm going to just double click there and there. I'm going to keep that, that, and that. Control backspace. Okay, so now I've got this polygon here in the middle. Now I am going to mesh smooth it. Okay, so that makes a much more even shape here. Now the good thing about that is because I've got the outside shapes, I can basically kind of start welding these in. So I'm just going to use target weld. Okay, and obviously you'll notice that now we've gone back to quads, which is good because I really do want to use mesh smooth on this. Okay, now if I have my inside loop just there, and I'm going to control and just backspace and get rid of it. So now I've just got this one. Okay, and this is only got 8 sides, but it's certainly a good place for it to start, yeah? Okay, now with that I'm just going to do a shift. Shouldn't have done it that way actually. An extrude would probably be better. Okay, so back about that much, and then delete. So it's gone. So I've just got the inside now at the back. Alright, now we know that this was 30 by 30, so that's a good start. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a copy of it. Okay, and my copy here is at the minute back 30, back 29, etc. I can make it exact by having it come back maybe 30 or whatever. So it's these verts that are the important part. Okay, I know that they fit together, so I can come in, get fairly close and just do that. Okay, now if I do that as well. Okay, so we can have them there like that, and I'm just going to isolate these, and now I can go into this viewport and basically just line them up. So I can use my move tool on this. Like so, just to move it around. Now I'm going to get this one, Control V, make myself a copy. No, not an instance, I said a copy. Put down thing. There we go, copy. Okay, and with my copy, if I go to Tools, let me see, where is it? I want my... I never remember where I put these things. There we are, transform typing. Okay, so offset on the screen now. I can make that 30. And now it's gone in the right direction there. Okay, let's get rid of this one. And instead, Control V. Make another copy of our plane. And this time I'm going to make the offset on the Y 30. Then I'm going to make the offset, sorry, X 30, the offset on the Y 15. Okay, now Control V. I can now bump it up on the Y another 30. So now we know that these are exactly in the right position. And you're like, well, that's cool. Why are you doing it this way? I'll show you. Control V again. And for this one, on the Y-axis, another 30. Yeah? Yeah. And then on this one, I don't know, maybe minus 45. So it's at the bottom there. Okay, so starting to get somewhere here. So now we have this 3 and that 4. So, oops, I didn't want to unisolate you. I don't know what you think you're doing. Isolate selection. Hide unselected. Go away. Okay, so now we need to give these two another height, so Control V for that one and Control V for that one. Okay, so for this one, let's see, we want to increase the Y on this by 30, and for this one we want to increase the Y on this one by 30 as well. Okay, good start, everything's looking good. Now what I need to do now is start filling in some of these gaps. I think 4x3 should be enough, but I tell you what, we'll do it one more time just to be on the safe side. So I'll take this and this, Control V, do that, and then I'll just bump them up by another 30. Okay, now I want to build a plane, so I'm just going to grab a plane here, and this time it's going to be a length of 15 by a width of 30, just one length seg and two width segs. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to align that to this. I said I'm going to align that to this. There we go. Now I know for a fact that we need to basically increase the height by about 7.5. Okay, so it's at the top there. Now I can drop it down by 15, drop it down by 15 again, and it's in the right position. Control V. Now all I have to do is move it up by 30, 60, 90, 120, and then another 15. There we go, and that's in the right place too. So now we have that looking good, you know, it's in the right position. Okay, so I'm going to attach everything to this bottom piece. And this is a way more precise way of doing this, because by doing it this way, we can guarantee that, you know, it's going to turbo smooth and it'll look okay. Okay, so attach, and the good thing is the verts are all lined up against each other, and that's a good thing, because if I come here, Control A and weld, you'll now see 264 becomes 230. Tick. Okay, we now know that this is 60 wide. Okay, so what we can do here is I can do a Control V, and then I can just move it offset 60. Whoops, just undo that. Okay, so if I do a couple of copies, Control V, Control V, Control V, okay, that'll make a few. I can take this one and again just move it 60. And I can take this one and move it 120, and then I can move this one 180, and I think that is probably it. Yeah, just checking. Okay, so we've got this, which is nice. I think, yep, that should be absolutely fine for what I need. Okay, so now if I take this one and I am going to attach that, 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 and that, and then I am going to affect my pivot and center it to the entire object. Going to my perspective. Reason being that I want this to close. Okay, it's important. I don't necessarily need a back on this, but if I do want one, probably going to be better off just cheating with the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that now. Should I do it now? Actually no, sod it, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it after I've applied this bend modifier. Okay, basic modifiers. I know a lot of people think, oh, I never use these, they're just basic modifiers. Really, really important basic modifiers. 1480 too much. 180 degrees. Now we just need to decide which axis it goes on. Well, we can see that it's going to be minus 180 degrees. It's actually going to be minus 360 degrees. There's no limit to the effect, so convert to editable poly. And now, just like we did before, Control A and weld. And we brought down by 45 our vertex count. Okay, so that's cool. So if I select this, we should have one object more or less. These ones here at the bottom, for some reason their verts aren't attaching. I'm not sure why, so let's see if we can sort something out with that. Actually, I know what it is. I know exactly why as well. These are back to front, so go here, Control I, and flip. That should do it. Control select by everything and weld. Yeah, that's it. They just had flipped normals. It was just because of the way I built them in the first place. Okay, turn off that. We don't really need to see the inside, but if you want to, you know, if you really want to, we can make a second copy of this and have it on the inside. So I'll leave that up to you, but I don't really see the point. Now I'm going to take my top lip, and then I'm going to take my bottom lip, just here, and I am going to use my scale tool. Do that, and then because I need to create a lip, I'll bring that one down slightly there. So there's no reason why we should ever see anything past that, so there we go. In fact, this one's probably a little bit high anyway, as you can see. I'll just bring it down. Only needs to be a very small lip. I think I've accidentally duplicated this lip anyway, so I'll just do it again. Shift, drag it down just a little way. Shift, drag it up just a little way. I don't need to bridge it. If I'd built these things back to back, then sure, maybe, but I don't. Okay, next I'm going to do a loop here and here, and again at the bottom, just here and here. It's my loop tool. I'm going to inset it, and by doing that, it will basically preserve that edge for me. I don't really need to do too much else. Now for the insides of these, really I should have done this before, so if I stick a turbo smooth on, let's have a look and see what it does to my model first. Actually, that is spot on. So if I just stick a second iteration onto that, yeah, that is exactly what I was after. Okay, so quite a lot of edges going on in here. I prefer to have slightly more control over it. Okay, well, I don't have the luxury of going back and going, oh well, I'll do it again, because I've too much water's passed under the bridge here. So what I'm going to do instead is just go like this. It'll only take me a minute, and again, Bob Rossism, happy little accident. Should have thought about it. You know yourself now that if you did it for one, that's cool, it would have worked. All I'm doing is just maintaining my edge in this, making it a little bit harder, while at the same time avoiding the pitfall of having to have like a trillion gazillion polygons if I don't need them. I can't remember how many it increases it by exponentially each time, but it's a few. Let's wait a second. There we go. Hopefully this is doing it for you and you're like, yeah, I'm enjoying this. Well, you're probably not enjoying the repetitiveness of me doing this bit over and over again, but you know. Hopefully you found this an interesting way of doing it. You know, I actually saw this method used by Andreas Monarca. He was a friend of mine, 3D Palace, well, you know, chum. He used to chat on IRC a lot. He used to live in Sweden, and I remember when he first started out, and he was, his first project was Starship Troopers, the animated CG series. I don't know if you watched that. It's pretty cool though. And now he is the head of, or is he the head of animation? No, I think he's like a senior TD though for Sony. Works on like loads of their big stuff. I think he's just done Mockingjay. He was a really nice guy, and his stuff was tremendous. If you want to look it up, you can find it under swirly_chicken. If you have a look around on the internet, you'll probably find it. Okay, I'm just going to insert that by the same amount I did before, so that's perfect, you see. Click tick. Click tick for a quick trick. And now all I need to do is turbo smooth. There, and that maintains the inside of this shape a lot better. So I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. Right click, convert to edit poly, perspective, zoom, unhide all. Now I can see it's a teeny weeny bit big at the minute, but that's okay. Got to be careful how we do this. For example, if I do that, you may notice that, oh, it's ruined it, because it will. Right, so I'm going to align this to that. Actually, no, that was bloody useless, wasn't it? Because it's not actually got any form of centered pivot. Let's do the centered pivot first, then align it to that. Delete this, because you know what, this one's better. Certainly not as janky and as generally horrible, is it? Now I'm just going to scale it in. And I think you'll agree that that does look considerably better than the other one did. And don't worry if you think to yourself, oh well, it's not big enough. You can stick another one on top of it if you have to. Now I'm going to grab this, stick it on that one, bring them down a bit, and just check the positioning on them. Yeah, that's okay, that is okay. Ignore the blemishes, that's just like shading error. It's not broken, it's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to bring these two here down a little bit. Just into there. And this is kind of plain, so let's go back to our object paint. And again, the good thing is this is symmetrical, so I'm going to drag up my list. Still got the stuff in it, so that's cool. It'll save me a couple of minutes of effort. And I don't need to stick spikes on it, tempting as it may seem. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go over to my paint with objects on list, and I'm just painting on the selected surface, as you can see. And just the detail end cap should be enough. There and there. And maybe there. Don't know if we can see it underneath, but we can try. There we go. A bit high, I think. Let's try a bit lower. There. Maybe a little bit higher. There, that'll do. Okay, so we've got the end caps in place. Now I'm going to put the simple rivet. Hit F4 so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit better here. But yeah, if you can find Andreas Manika's older work, he front paged on CG Talk years and years and years ago. Like literally years and years and years ago. Really, really talented though. It's tempting to put a spike in it, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. It just looks silly. I haven't really got anywhere I can put that. So I think we'll just leave it as this. What I'm going to do though is just use auto grid. And I'm just going to drag out a box just onto this and down a little bit. And then I can bring it in. I tell you what, these things kind of, I don't know what it is, they just add to your model. Just even having a simple box on it, suddenly you've got a panel, you know. Just zoom in on this, and I'll just do a quick chamfer. And I need to bring the chamfer in. And click tick. Okay, now I can paint. And I'll just use my simple rivet. I'm not going to bother painting my simple rivet at the bottom, because what the hell's the point in that? We'll not see it. There we go, just there like that. And nah, I'm not going to use an end cap. I think that'll be enough. You know, the whole less is more principle really is the case. Less is more. Okay, I'm going to attach. Now, I'm going to be careful because obviously sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You may notice I'm able to attach these. I've noticed with its higher polygon, it's not so happy doing it. But it's okay with these, so. Okay. And just move it along a little bit. There we go, just a little bit more space there. And now I'm going to copy it using a mirror. Would have helped if I had something selected, wouldn't it? Okay, and I'm just going to drag it to the right place myself. Okay. Got my top view, and I just want to make sure that these are pretty much the same. This one needs to go along a bit more here. No symmetry in nature, but there certainly is symmetry in machinery. Okay, and bring those down a bit, and I'm going to angle them slightly. And then bring them back in a bit. There we go. And then down. Cool. Perspective, zoom. Let's have a look. Can't see shit because I've got edged faces on. Oh, moved the wrong bit again. Okay, our torso is now one big wondrous thing that I love. Now, you'd probably think to yourself, oh Chris, you forgot these bits. What are you going to do there? Actually, I've been considering these bits for some time. These little boxy fellas here. And if I can just zoom in a bit on it. Hang on. I was originally of the opinion that I was going to kind of put all sorts of sexy looking machinery into this. But I don't really want to kind of overload my model too much. I'm going to give it some thought. I might add some detail to that at the end. And then again I might not. It just depends what's going to work. I think sticking too much in it might be literally that, too much. But it's such a smooth box, man. Look at that, I've started staring at it now. It's like, why is it so smooth? What's it for? Ooh, decisions. And now I've started doing something. You see, it's too late now. It's too late. It's like I piqued my interest. Now I want to know what it does and why it does it. Okay, so convert to editable poly. Well, we've got time. And I am going to grab my little vertices, pull them down and in. Then I grab this and grab in, zoom on it. Nice little shape there. Move it to about there. There we go. And don't need the rear polygons. There's no point creating a shed load of detail from it. Control I and delete. And I think what I'm going to do here, if I can avoid like overstressing or overstraining my piece, is just a quick chamfer. Like that, and then I can turbo smooth it like that. Before I do though, I should probably bring this in and then turbo smooth it. That's a better shape. Okay. Now I'm going to bring this down so the bottom part's basically coming out a little bit, and make some copies. Let's try with 12 copies. That's not bad, not bad. Could do with another one. About there. What does this do you think? I don't bloody know. So I do know, however, that it's at an interesting angle. These things are actually angling forwards, and that was completely unintentional. It's just the way that the whole kind of placement on this went. Let's put that in there. Sometimes you don't need a shitload of detail in order for your model to look cool. Effect pivot only. Align it to the pivot of this beast here. Oh, Rhino. I like that name. It's like a rhino. Reminds me a bit of the Marvel. Is it Marvel or DC? I want to get some complaints off someone either way. It reminds me of like that anyway. Okay, and let's just attach these. Yeah, because I was going to be all like, millions of details on the sides here. And it's like, well, there's already enough to distract the eye as it is, without more stuff distracting your eyes. Alright, so in the lessons that we've just done, where we've detailed up and put in like these big dirty steamy pipes and stuff like that, we've covered a lot. In the next tutorial, I haven't decided yet, it'll either be the head or it'll be the arms. Obviously if you're using the menu system, you already know what it is, so you have an advantage over me already. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. I hope you're as pleased with your own model if you're doing it at the same time as I am. And please do post up work in progress shots, and I'll see you on the flip side.